Have you ever wondered, when does life truly begin? Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of the 20th century, offered a bold perspective. Life really begins at 40. Until then, you're just doing research. This is far more than just a quote. It's a provocative challenge to the deeply ingrained cultural narrative surrounding middle age. In modern society, we are conditioned to fear aging. Advertisements, media, and even casual conversations often paint middle age as the beginning of decline, a period marked by diminishing vitality, personal crises, and the loss of one's former self. It's a narrative that breeds anxiety and reinforces the notion that life peaks in youth. But Carl Jung invites us to flip this perspective on its head. What if middle age isn't the final stretch, but the true starting line? What if it's not a descent into irrelevance, but a climb toward a more meaningful, authentic existence? Jung's idea compels us to see middle age as a time of awakening, a period when we shed societal expectations and finally come into our own. It's a stage where the knowledge and experience we've accumulated converge, allowing us to pursue deeper purpose, richer relationships, and greater self-awareness. Far from being a time to mourn what's past, middle age, in Jung's view, is an opportunity, a threshold to a new chapter where life's meaning unfolds in ways we could never have imagined in our earlier years. The question isn't whether life changes at 40. It's whether we're ready to embrace the transformation. In the early years of our lives, much of our energy is spent grappling with life's biggest, most profound questions. Who am I? What should I do with my life? What will truly make me happy? These questions drive us, shaping our choices and pushing us to define ourselves in the world. We pursue careers, build families, and strive for recognition, often believing that these achievements will bring clarity and fulfillment. And yet, for many, the answers we arrive at in these formative years can feel incomplete, even hollow. Despite checking off societal milestones, earning degrees, landing promotions, or achieving stability, we might still sense an unshakable void, a lingering feeling that something essential is missing. This isn't failure. It's the natural progression of self-discovery. In our youth, we are often influenced by external expectations, what our families, peers, or culture tell us we should want. But as we grow older, those answers may no longer resonate. They may reveal themselves as placeholders rather than permanent truths. It's at this juncture, often in the middle years of life, that a deeper journey begins. The questions we once thought we'd answered resurface, but this time with greater urgency and depth. Who am I, really? What is my purpose beyond roles and labels? What will bring me lasting joy and fulfillment? Far from being a crisis, this re-examination is an invitation, a chance to explore the authentic self that may have been buried beneath layers of obligation and expectation. It's a moment to move beyond seeking external validation and instead align with the internal truths that bring genuine meaning to our lives. These early questions weren't wrong. They were simply the first draft of a lifelong conversation with ourselves. And perhaps the most profound answers come not in the sprint of youth, but in the steady, intentional steps we take as we embrace life's second act. Jung referred to this stage of life as preparation, a time when the groundwork is laid for a deeper, more meaningful journey. It's not just a transitional phase. It's a critical moment of self-reckoning and transformation, a period when the foundation for a richer, more authentic existence is set. As we cross the threshold of 40, something profound begins to shift within us. The external markers of success, the promotions, the accolades, the social validation, begin to lose their luster. What once seemed like the pinnacle of achievement, the things we worked so hard to attain, no longer hold the same weight. We start to ask ourselves, is this all there is? Or, more profoundly, is this truly what I want? This isn't a sign of failure or a midlife crisis. It's a natural and healthy evolution of the human psyche. The priorities that once guided us, advancement, fitting in, meeting external expectations, no longer satisfy the deeper needs we may have only now begun to uncover. At this juncture, the surface-level desires that once dictated our choices fade into the background, making way for more pressing, existential questions. We start to question our purpose on a much deeper level. What truly gives my life meaning? What am I here to contribute that will matter not just to others, but to myself? We look inward with an honesty that might feel uncomfortable at first, but is essential for personal growth. The external rewards of our earlier years no longer measure up to the internal satisfaction we crave. The result is often a profound sense of disillusionment with our old pursuits. But this moment of realization is not something to fear. It is an invitation. Jung's concept of preparation suggests that we are not lost or broken at this stage. Rather, we are on the cusp of a new beginning. The void we may feel is not a sign of life's decline, but a fertile space in which the most meaningful chapters of our story are about to unfold. As we embrace this shift, we have the opportunity to let go of outdated roles and false narratives. We move beyond the need for external validation and step into a phase of life where we can finally prioritize what truly resonates with our deeper self. This period of recalibration sets the stage for what Jung called the second half of life, a time when we can discover new purposes, explore uncharted territories, and become the fullest, most authentic version of ourselves. This is the pivotal moment that Carl Jung referred to as individuation, the profound process of becoming the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. It's not a superficial transformation driven by external influences, but rather an inner awakening that compels you to align your life with your deepest truths. This is where we shed the layers of societal conditioning and begin to listen, perhaps for the first time, to the voice that resides within. Individuation is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the essence of who you were always meant to be. It is the journey of integrating all the fragmented parts of the self, conscious and unconscious, and embracing them fully. It is a process of reconciling our internal contradictions, accepting our imperfections, and letting go of the roles and masks we've worn for so long to please others or meet expectations. As we enter this phase, questions begin to emerge. Questions that may feel both liberating and unsettling at the same time. We start to ask ourselves, is this really all I've ever wanted? The achievements, the accolades, the relationships, the possessions, have they brought me lasting fulfillment, or have they only provided temporary distractions? We look around at our lives, and for the first time, we might feel the weight of unspoken desires and unacknowledged dreams. The next question that arises is equally profound. Am I living the life I truly crave? This is not about living a life of luxury or chasing fleeting pleasures. It's about aligning our daily existence with the deep, unspoken longings of the soul. It's about living authentically, without the need for validation from the outside world. At this point, the approval of others, be it from family, friends, or society, becomes less important. Instead, the focus shifts inward, toward living a life that is true to your own values, passions, and purpose. This stage of individuation is not easy. It requires immense courage to confront the parts of ourselves we've long ignored or repressed. But it is also the most rewarding phase of personal growth. The more we embrace this inner transformation, the more we unlock our true potential. We begin to understand that fulfillment does not come from external success, but from living a life of authenticity, purpose, and self-acceptance. As Jung taught, individuation is not a destination. It is an ongoing journey. It is the process of continually evolving into a more integrated and whole version of ourselves, shedding old beliefs and embracing new ones. It's about breaking free from the limitations we've imposed on ourselves and daring to live fully in alignment with our inner truth. This is the opportunity that lies before us as we enter the second half of life. To step into our true selves, to let go of the illusions that once defined us, and to create a life that is not just about what we've accomplished, but who we've become. It is the moment where life truly begins, not because of external achievements, but because we finally understand what it means to live authentically. These questions are not signs of collapse or failure. On the contrary, they are profound opportunities. Opportunities to reframe and redefine the direction of your life. At a time when many might view midlife as a crisis, Carl Jung saw it as an invitation to a new chapter of self-discovery and transformation. The questions that arise, although they may seem daunting or unsettling, are not there to undermine us. They are the gateway to a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly want from life. They signal that we are no longer content to live on autopilot. We are awakening to the possibility of a life more aligned with our core truths. Jung believed that middle age is not a time to lament the loss of youth, nor is it a moment to mourn what has been left behind. Instead, it is a time to celebrate the wisdom, clarity, and personal growth that come from living through decades of experience. This period, far from being one of decline, is a rich and fertile time to harvest the lessons learned from both our successes and failures. It is a time to reflect not with regret, but with gratitude for the strength and resilience that have been cultivated along the way. As we approach middle age, we begin to realize that the value of life is not in the accomplishments we have checked off a list, but in the depth of the wisdom we've gained through living. We start to understand that true success is not about the accumulation of wealth, titles, or external validation. It's about the ability to look back on our journey and recognize the clarity we've gained, the lessons we've learned, and the authenticity with which we can now live. There's a certain freedom that comes with having lived long enough to shed the illusions and expectations that once constrained us. Jung also recognized that with this wisdom comes the ability to live a more authentic life, one that is not dictated by others' expectations or the societal pressures of youth. In middle age, we are granted the freedom to embrace our true selves, to let go of the personas we may have adopted in earlier years, and to live more fully in alignment with our inner desires and values. It's not about chasing fleeting moments of happiness. It's about cultivating a sense of peace and purpose that comes from living genuinely. This is the essence of what Jung referred to as individuation, the process of becoming the whole person you were always meant to be. In middle age, we are no longer defined by the roles we play or the expectations we once sought to meet. We are free to embrace who we truly are and create a life that reflects our deepest aspirations. It's a time of reinvention, not in the sense of creating someone new, but in the sense of embracing the parts of ourselves we may have long neglected or repressed. In celebrating this phase, we honor not just what we have accomplished, but who we have become. The wisdom we've gained, the clarity with which we can see our path ahead, and the newfound ability to live authentically are gifts that are only possible through the trials and triumphs of the years we've lived. Far from a time of decline, middle age is a time of blooming, a time when we are finally able to live the life we've always wanted, not one shaped by external pressures, but by our own true essence. So rather than viewing midlife as a period of loss, we should see it as a time of celebration. It is a moment to honor the richness of our experiences, to embrace the clarity we've gained, and to step fully into the freedom of living a life that is uniquely our own. This is the true gift of middle age, the ability to live a more meaningful, intentional life, rooted in wisdom and authenticity. Middle age is not just a phase of life. It's an unparalleled opportunity to stop living according to the script that others have written for you, and to begin penning the story of your own life. It's a powerful invitation to step into your truth and rewrite your narrative in a way that is authentic, fulfilling, and deeply aligned with who you truly are. In the earlier chapters of our lives, we often find ourselves living by societal expectations, cultural norms, or even the expectations of family and friends. We are taught to follow a set path, to pursue certain careers, marry, buy a house, and live within the lines of convention. While these milestones may bring a sense of security or achievement, they often come with a sense of obligation, not passion. As we navigate through life, many of us don't even stop to question whether this prescribed path is truly ours to walk, or whether we've simply adopted someone else's dream for us. But as we reach middle age, something shifts. We begin to see the cracks in the carefully constructed facade. We realize that we no longer want to live someone else's life. We want to live our own. This is where the magic of middle age lies. The realization that you have the power to rewrite your story, to live in a way that feels right to you, not dictated by the rules of the past. Carl Jung captured this transformative moment perfectly when he said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, but it is also the most liberating." These words speak to the heart of what it means to truly live authentically. The fear he describes is not just the fear of failure or rejection. It is the fear of confronting the parts of ourselves we've hidden away, the parts we've denied or repressed in order to fit into someone else's mold. But once we face those parts and accept them, fully and without judgment, we unlock the freedom to live our truest, most fulfilling life. Accepting yourself in this way doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or stagnation. It means embracing your uniqueness, your quirks, your passions, and your flaws. It means acknowledging the depth of your experiences and using them to fuel your next chapter, rather than allowing them to hold you back. It is only when we accept ourselves, completely, flaws and all, that we are truly free to live without the constraints of outside expectations. The process of acceptance is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. It requires courage and honesty. It involves confronting the fear of rejection, the fear of not fitting in, and the fear of making bold choices that might go against the grain of what others expect from us. But the reward is nothing short of liberation. By embracing who we really are, we step into the fullness of our potential. We begin to create a life that is not just about following a checklist, but about living in harmony with our inner desires and values. Middle age, then, is a gift, an invitation to step off the treadmill of conformity and start crafting a life that is uniquely yours. It is the time when you finally have the clarity, wisdom, and courage to make choices that reflect your true self. It's the moment when you can throw away the script you've been handed and start writing your own. And in doing so, you create not only a life that is authentic, but one that is deeply meaningful and truly yours. Life truly begins at 40, not because you have all the answers, but because you've started asking the right questions.